Oh. All right, we are live. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. We are Bree and Lexi with Straighten Her Crown Project, and today we are starting our interviews with our featured queens that you guys have been following for the last couple of weeks. So stay tuned.
Welcome back. We are here with the Tell Us Your Story campaign, our featured guest this week. Welcome.
Thank you.
Can you give us your name and how long ago you moved to Prescott?
My name's Jessica Ellerman, and my husband and I and our youngest son moved here in January. We actually moved in during the big snow. Like, we literally pulled the trailer in, and there was like 2 feet of snow on the ground, and we were like, where are we?
Awesome. Very cool. And one of the things that we do want to kind of start with this week is an inspirational quote. So one of my favorite quotes is from Eleanor Roosevelt, and it's, "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams." And I really think that that will resonate with our guest today because she helps other women empower themselves to get their dreams and goals handled in their life. So we're really excited to have you today.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
I'm excited to be here.
So can you just talk a little bit about what you do and how you got there?
Absolutely. So I'm a former hairdresser. I did hair for like 10 years in San Diego. And when 2008 hit and the economy kind of like crashed, if you will, we got into a really weird place, like financially, because my husband's career was, at that time, he ran an off-road racing series called Core, and it was like live on NBC, and Core kind of went away, and he was also in construction, and that sort of slowed down in San Diego, and hair was going crazy. And so I had a girlfriend who invited me to one of those meetings that we all say no to, and I actually went, right? And something that day just clicked with me, and I was like, you know what, if I'm in this situation, there's got to be other people in this situation, and there's got to be people looking for something. And so I started down a path in the industry of network marketing, and so that's what I've been doing full time. I took over the income of both of us within a few months of getting started. And so when I realized, like, you can really do this, I worked at like a business, I worked it really hard, and we've been fortunate enough to build teams of literally probably hundreds of thousands of people around the world.
That's
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That impact is huge.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah. Very cool. So what makes you you, Jessica?
Oh my gosh, that's an open-ended question, right? I think a lot. You look back in your life and you go, okay, why am I the way that I am? Why do I do the things that I do?
Right.
And I think I can attribute a lot of that to my childhood. Really, like we grew up totally normal until I was 12. My dad was in a really bad car accident, brain injured. He was in the hospital for a couple of years. And so it left my brother, who was like 7 at the time, and I home alone a lot. I was a gymnast. I had to be really driven. We had like 2 options at that time, like, because no one was really, my mom would be at the hospital. We had 2 options, like buckle down and like do what we needed to do, go to school, be good, get good grades, do my gymnastics. And I really think that we made the right decisions. And I think making those decisions in those moments really like made the rest of our lives the way that they are. We could have chose to let it be an excuse to be bad and to be crazy and like not go to school and do all the things that you don't have to do when no one's there telling you to do it. And we did the opposite. And I think that really like led to the people we are today as adults.
That's awesome. So you like focused on what you could control.
Right.
Yeah, that's really cool.
When we always said, my brother and I we'd always say, it could always be worse.
Yep.
And we would think about what was good and what we were grateful for, rather than trying to worry about what we couldn't control.
Right. And that's so true. I feel like I say that to myself. The littlest thing, I'm like, oh my gosh, it could be so much worse. And here I'm having a mental breakdown.
Right.
You got to kind of like pull it back in.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. I mean, I know that was a very difficult situation, and you overcame it.
Yeah, we did. It was good.
Yeah. Awesome. So with the Tell Us Your Story campaign, we got to learn a lot about Jessica. It's on our social media pages. Feel free to read her story. It's truly inspiring, and we also are posting it right now. So feel free to skim it, reread it a little bit. Ask us any questions if you do have any questions.
Absolutely.
But Jessica, what I have a question for you about is your story is so inspiring. What do we not know about you? Or what's a fun fact that like you'd like to share with the rest of Arizona?
Oh, fun facts. Okay, there's so many. I've done so many random things. I guess like I mean, really, there's like two things. So a lot of people think, because I did move from San Diego, everyone thinks California girl, and in business they think this too. They see my social media, they see you speaking, they see you all with a microphone on stage, and everyone thinks like I'm a city girl. And the truth of the matter is, like, I was the treasurer of my FFA chapter. Like, I've raised cows and pigs, and like, so you know, I'm not this city girl. I ride mountain bikes, I ride dirt bikes. I'm very much a tomboy at heart.
Cool.
So you see the heels, you see the clothes on stage, and I'm like, that's really that's not like the underneath of who I am. And then the other thing is, like, I've like been a professional speaker. Like, that's what I do now, you know, and I've shared the stage with John Maxwell. Like, that's a big deal, you know, and been invited to speak on some of his laws and stuff. And so those are probably two, like, one is like, if you would have told me 10 years ago that I would ever like speak on stage with John Maxwell, I would have laughed at you, you know, and then that persona that is the speaker on stage is really just a tomboy at heart and just wants to go out and share stories and help people.
Well, I want to know more about your fitness journey, because I saw some pictures that I was kind of intrigued by, and I want to know a little bit more about this.
Sure, yeah.
So I've been an NPC fitness competitor a bunch of times. I've probably done about 6 competitions.
And explain what NPC is really quick for those who don't know.
Okay, so NPC is when you see there's a couple of different classes. So there's from girls that are like bodybuilders, big, you know, they get pretty big, to bikini, which is what I did, which is more lean and long. The girls, some of those girls have some big muscles, but I was more of lean and long. And I really just did it to, like, I'm such make a goal, like time frames, like chomp out, like it's easier for me to stay on track with fitness, with my meal plans, with whatever, if I have a goal, like a end in sight. And so that's why I started in them, and then it just became fun. And the last one I did, I actually competed fitness, which is like a routine, like a gymnast, because I have that gymnastics background. So I did, I had to tumble and do all kinds of fun stuff. Yeah, it was cool. So
fun.
Well, and I like to reiterate that is a natural physique. That's what NPC stands for, natural physique, because there's no alterations to your, you know, chemical imbalance that way. It's all like grit. Yeah.
So those big girls the girls with the big muscles have been training for a really long time to get that way. There's no 90-day prep. Like I can prep out bikini in 90 days, you know, but those girls, they have lifelong, like making those muscles happen.
Yes. Yeah. I know some girls like that. And I'm, you know, have so much respect for you that can
drive, determination, and keeping your food on track is so hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have a hard enough time.
Because we have places like we went out to dinner last night, Essence, and I'm like, oh my god, this is not a
Okay, let's shout out to Essence, because Julie and Jason know how to do it out there.
Yes, the scallops were amazing. Yes.
I have it. Okay. So every time I go, Julia just gives me carafes of the passion tea.
Oh, is it? I haven't had it.
Gosh, well, it's, you know, sugar.
Right.
So that's probably why you haven't had it.
True.
It's just nothing but sugar.
That's funny.
I mean, it's just amazing. Right. Everything out there is great. So, well, what else do you want us to know about you, like the community to know specifically about you?
One thing we really wanted to do, both my husband and I, when we decided to make the move here, it's small town, so we wanted to definitely be a part of it. So I've been trying to, as much as possible, get involved in the community. And so if you're on here and you're watching this and there's things that you need or help, that, like if there's projects going on, we would love to hear about that stuff. It's so hard to, like, you're diving into this community and it's hard to find all the places and find all the things. So we've done what we can, but we want to be involved more. My husband is like, okay, because for 10 years now with my industry and my income, he hasn't had to, like, do something. He's like, I think I want to get back in, be a superintendent for one of the builders. I want to
That's
get
awesome.
involved and maybe be a planner at the city. And so any of that stuff, those are the things that I want the community to know. Like, we want to be involved, and we've got friends that have moved up and we're all like doing that together.
You've chosen the right town for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of need for skilled laborers and project managers and construction around here right now. So
and then we've been really seeing that. So I'm like, what do we need to do? Should we start a company? Like we're talking those things through right now.
It's really hard to even just to get somebody to do a handyman job or a small project because everybody's so busy doing big things.
Right.
And so it's definitely needed in this community.
Right.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to Straighten Your Crown project, speaking of projects, why do you think it's so important to have each other's back as women?
There's so much to that, you know.
Right.
And I like when I'm such a tomboy. So like what I love about women who are a part of projects like this is they're usually so much more like that. It's not you're getting out of the catty world of girls and into like what's really important and what should we really be focusing on, and how can we really help each other rather than be so small-minded and belittle, you know. It's like who lock arms, who needs what, and how do we get everybody where they're going, you know. And I think that's a big part of any project like this.
Absolutely.
And we need to be doing it more.
Absolutely. And communication is such a key in this whole project, and I think that's just true with any situation. Right. But when you have honest communication, you get honest results.
Right. And when you let people know what you want and what you're looking for, and I think that's a big part of all of this. You're hearing those stories and you can kind of tell, okay, I love that story and here's how I can help them, or here's something and that's big. And
what would you tell a young woman who's starting their journey?
Oh, in life, like go for your goals, dude. Like, oh my gosh, really, dude. What do you want? Yes. Don't just like, if I would have just lived in my small like mindset that I used to have and just let life happen, I would not be where I'm at today. So think about what you really, really want and figure out how to really actually get there. And you guys can do it with kids and the schedules and all of the things that we put on our plate. You guys, you can spin the plates you want to spin if you know where you're going. So make some goals and freaking make them happen.
Love it. Yeah.
I love that because they call everybody dude. I'm like, dude. Yeah. I was just like, we had a bonding moment. That's all that was. Dude.
Everyone, I call everybody dude.
Yeah. It's that,
It's like maybe it's the California in me.
Well, I don't know. I'm an Arizonian. I was like, I'm like, right on and dude are like my things. Right. Yeah, like dude. Yeah. My husband's like, did you just call me dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I love it.
He doesn't even call anybody dude. He's like, whatever.
I know. That's funny.
That's just how we are.
So, another question. As I was reading your story, you do talk about how you help other women build their health and build their businesses, just in general. Have you ever been inspired by any of the women that you are helping? And like, what's a good story, or like a story that you can wrap up in like to 20 seconds? Or how have they inspired you? Because the people you're helping sometimes end up being like the student and the teacher kind of switch sometimes.
Right. And also when I first started, especially in network marketing, it was for me, it was like to save my household, like to make an income, to build a business and whatnot. But through that, you can only build a business in what I do by helping other people, or else you're never gonna get anywhere. And so some of those stories, watching a girl make enough money that she doesn't have to do her part-time job. She can stay home more with her kids, make it so her husband doesn't have to go to work the extra hours because she's taking that up in her little side gig, her side hustle. Or going from someone who is so timid and just gets started and then goes into making a full-time income in something that they're super excited and passionate about. And the health side of it, because my first company wasn't health-based, but my second and anything else I've done has been health and wellness based. And to watch people lose their first 5 pounds and then continue down a journey. And I've had people that
Mhm.
needed to lose lots and lots of weight and watch women lose 100, 150 pounds and just get on track and go from not knowing how to make proper choices with their food and in their household, and to start, okay, now I'm feeling a little bit better. So now I'm going to get my food on track. And like just watching the journey of transformation, as far as just being educated on how to not only take care of them, but at most of them, it's taking care of their kids too, and creating better habits for their next generation.
Right. No,
So-
that's awesome. So body image is a huge thing, obviously, with women. I mean, how do you even encourage, or how have you encouraged women to not only like help lose the weight that they want, but embrace themselves in their own body? Because I think that's
Right.
something
That
that's
process,
super
yeah.
hard.
Yeah, and
to do.
I think there's a fine balance in finding it's not about the weight that you need to get to. It's just about getting healthy. It's about
Right.
making sure that your body is you're physically running correctly, so that everybody could be different. You know, it
Yeah.
could be going from to just being at 200 pounds, but now your blood pressure's down and your cholesterol's
Right.
back in track, and like you're just your body is functioning better, and you don't have all the issues. So it's really not about what the body looks like.
Yeah.
It's about where's your health balance, and where do you need to be to make sure that you are functioning well for your husband, kids, family members, whoever it is.
Right. But
That's
putting
awesome.
yourself first, I think, is important. You
Right.
know what I mean? In order to, I mean, that's the goal.
Right.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, putting yourself first so that you can take care of everybody else and
Right.
all of your other responsibilities. Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And just being gentle with yourself along the way. I think that's a huge thing.
Yeah, one day at a
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Especially if you're on
absolutely.
any sort of a business, health, any journey like that. Like
Yeah.
every day is going to throw something different at you, and
For
you just
sure.
kind of got to roll with the punches.
You're right. Yeah. So do you have a woman in your life that has inspired you the most, and how have they inspired you, or a celebrity even, or someone that you don't already know?
So given the way that I grew up, like most of my mentors, and especially in business, is crazy. Like a lot of them have been men. Along my journey, like I've had a couple of girls that do what I do, that we've some of them are in different companies, not even in my company, but they're like my girls I lock arms with and run things past. And
That's cool.
probably if I was to say who's like the most inspirational for me, it's my girlfriend Whitney. She actually is in a makeup company. She's the top money earner at a makeup
Awesome.
company. And
Shout
she's-
out to Whitney.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
right?
cranks, and if anybody knows that company, then already know who I'm talking about. But we do like she's my sounding board. I'm her sounding board, and she's crushing it. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We all need someone like that in our lives, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's so much fun.
You have to have that support. You have to have that friend or a group or a tribe.
Mhm.
You know, you have to have that in order
Right.
to be successful. Because we live in a society where we have to have that validation. Because if you're being brought down, you're going to feel bad about yourself. You just are. It's just the way it works. But if you have that group lifting you up and building you up, then you're going to fly. And I love that. I love Whitney for you and you for her.
Yes. We are the sum total
That's
of the
awesome.
5 people we spend the most time with. So
Yeah.
you got to pick a good 5.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
love
For
that.
sure.
I was looking, and then we might have some questions on Instagram. I'm sorry because that Instagram live is so far.
Do you want me to look?
we're gonna. I'm close. I'm
Yeah,
gonna just
you
look
got
and
it.
see if there are any questions. Love you too, Uri. Thank you for joining us. Hi. That was one way to do it. I'm just gonna
There we
bring you
go.
over here for a minute.
Then
We got, you guys, just lots of love. Hi, lady. Good morning.
Lots of good
Thank you guys so much for paying attention and watching us. Anybody on the Facebook and who have any questions that we can answer or that Jess can answer for you?
yeah, and feel free to reach out if there's anything we're talking about that you want to dive into more. Reach out to any of us. I'm excited to hear some of the next stories too.
Yeah, we are
Of
too.
the
We're
other.
excited to be doing this campaign.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. It's good to know the women in your community and find out what we all do, because I think
Right.
a lot of times, like you said, we look at each other's Instagrams and Facebooks, and like you don't actually know sometimes what everyone's doing. Like in
Right. Or you assume
The
that
back-
everyone
right.
does know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And they
yeah.
don't, So
For
it's good to
sure.
share those stories. I get, that's what I always feel like I'm assuming that everybody knows,
Yeah.
and that they don't, you know?
I agree.
So
yeah.
what encouraged you when you saw that this campaign was coming up, and we were asking for women to kind of step out of their comfort zone a little bit and share their story? What inspired you to do so?
I want to be involved more in the community. So I was like, okay, even if it's not my story, like I want to hear these stories.
Exactly.
Like I want to get connected to these stories. And like you have to do what, like you have to, like, to be a leader, to whatever, you have to do what you're looking for, right? So I want to hear other stories. So I'm going to share mine so that hopefully it makes other people share theirs. So if you haven't done so, like, keep sharing the stories, reach out to the girls who have shared the stories, ask them questions. And let's like lift all of them up.
Absolutely. You know, absolutely. Is there a particular, without saying any names, but a particular story that you've read so far?
Oh my gosh, there's all of them are so good.
Right?
And I can't remember everybody's name, but with the insurance girl, I started following her on Instagram and her husband's story, and I'm just like,
yes.
And I'm just like, what? You know, we all think we've been through some hard times, and then you read someone else's story, like mine's nothing, you know. They say you'd never, like, if you took your worst times and somebody else's, you'd never trade them. You know, you'd always just keep yours. Like, I'll keep mine. And some of those stories, like knowing what some of these women have gone through, is like awesome.
And the way they handle it with so much grace.
Yeah.
And have overcome so much. And they feel the same way. Like, you know, even in our worst situation, somebody has it worse. And so you be grateful for.
I think people are scared to share their stories, but there's so much power in the vulnerability of sharing them. And like, if you're someone who hasn't shared your story and you're watching these, like, even if it's not to this project, like get your stories out there, talk about them, and your trials, your tribulations. And it really, if you get it out of you and like you hear it and you've got some other people that know those things that have troubled you or that you've gone through, I think it's a lot easier to deal with them yourself.
Absolutely. And you know what? Our campaign is still open for a couple more days. We're closing on the 15th, and we are taking more submissions. We've got about 10 slots left. So if you were considering submitting your story, please do so. Please do so. As when October 15th hits, the ladies, the queens that we have featured are the queens that we're going to go ahead and take further into to follow out the rest of this campaign, which is basically a lot of celebration, and, for sure. And honoring them and continuing to highlight them. So we've got a lot of really good opportunities for all of you. So please submit. Even if you just considered it for half a second, please submit. Okay. Well, I think that we had a great interview. How do you feel?
I feel like it was awesome.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you felt like you didn't get to share that you would love to share? Any ending quotes or thoughts to ponder?
Oh my gosh, no, I think we covered it. You know, and if we touched on something that makes you go, reach out. Let's have a conversation. Yes. Let's chat. What are you looking for? How can we help?
So you are available to link with others.
Oh, absolutely.
That want to know a little bit more about you and the services that you offer. Absolutely. And how you can help them. So if you feel like Jess can empower you in any way, partner with you in any way, then feel free to reach out to her. She is on social media under Jess Ellerman or Jessica Ellerman.
And that hairdo right there, Lindsay.
Is that Culture Salon? That's me too. I was like, I know that robe. I love her. Okay.
She does it better than me, but that's where it's from.
Awesome. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being here and watching. And like we said, if you have any questions after this live or this vlog is over, you feel free to reach out. We do encourage you to come next week because we have another awesome story to tell and another interview with another wonderful lady in the community. And she's got a lot to say. So you're not going to want to miss that. So
we'll see you then.
Yeah.
Thank you.